listening to the Twin Theory Podcast, Season 2, Episode 4. Alrighty, well, everyone, thank you for tuning back in. Episode 3 was part 1 of our interview with our mother. And so we are, as promised, part 2. Have a few more questions that we have for our mother, my mom, Madre, all of it. And so happy to have her back on. She introduced herself last episode. So if you want to know a little bit more about her and what she does and her background, make sure you listen to episode 3.
Yep.
And so we will pick up a little bit from where we left off. In the last episode, we talked about some of the things our mother experienced pre having the twins. So just finding out she was having twins, naming the twins, that sort of thing. Now we kind of started to talk a little bit about post having the twins. We have now been delivered and released into the world.
Yes.
And so I think we left off talking about, had she ever mixed us up? She admitted yes, she has. And to be quite honest, we have tried to play tricks on our mother as well.
Thank you for hanging in there, Mama.
Thank you for taking it and taking it, having a good sense of humor.
Taking it in stride. We have purposely tried to do that.
Yeah, we definitely have purposely tried to do that. So we thank you for that. So we have a few questions and just wanting your opinion on these things. A lot of people look at identical twins and they think, a whole bunch of glorious things, when they think identical twins. And nowadays I think it's a money making thing.
It's a trend.
It's a like trend. Everybody wants
like a fad.
Yeah, everybody wants identical twins. It's just Mom, you said you were really surprised and completely surprised. And nowadays it would be, I think most females would be ecstatic if they heard that they're like trying for twins.
Right?
So that first question is, what are the pros? Or, what are the high moments for you when it comes to having identical twins?
Oh, that's an interesting question. The high moments.
How about, or just the things you've enjoyed, maybe things you didn't.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
because
I got to clean up things maybe you didn't expect, and then you're like, I really love.
There are really great moments. I always wanted to have a daughter, and now I have 2. So, those are things that I really, really appreciate. I not only have one daughter, I have 2. And that I can spend as much time as I want with my daughter, because when one of them gets tired of me, I'll just go and start hanging out with the other one.
Oh, boy.
So it's really, really great. And then, they say that daughters take care of their parents. So I know I'm in good hands.
Yes,
because I got, a backup. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I really, really like that. But the other piece with twins is it's 2 of everything. Financially, it's 2 college tuitions. You know what I'm saying? It's 2, high school trips and proms and everything. So it has some, financial drawbacks. But other than that, just, having, folks to hang out with is, your girls really you could connect with, and they can connect with you. It's been a lot of fun. I've just really, really enjoyed it. I'm at the point now where I'm pushing for grandkids and all of that. So I'm just holding on.
Go ahead and put the PSA out there, Mama. Go ahead and put the PSA out there.
We know.
So I don't know, maybe at least in my head, since me and Courtney do have 2 different personalities, I feel like, if you want to be goofy or more careless, that's Courtney, where you hanging with Courtney. And if it's more seriousness or fun, you hang with Maria. Is anything like that?
No, I think
absolutely not really. I don't put it in a category like that. But if I just really want to be laid back, okay, there's no time to go and no time to leave. We just show up. Real spontaneous, like, that's Courtney. Now,
definitely.
Marissa, we're going to leave the house at 0800.
Yes.
pulling out of the driveway at, 2 minutes after that. We're gonna pull up. I mean, it's very still having fun, but I just know now that it's a little more formalized, it's
Okay.
structured, kind of like that. So I really love the difference between the two. And it's really like the difference between me and my husband because he's very structured as well. We went to Spain and he had us on a itinerary from the moment we got off the plane to the moment, so I know next time take Courtney and so we can really lay back and have a good time.
Oh, I'm glad the vacation mode. You go to vacations with Courtney. If you go into a conference and a seminar, take risks.
Right.
There's two different types of vibes, we'll call it. So you mentioned, a lot of the pros. You kind of, tapped a little bit of some of the things that we'll say maybe you weren't so prepared for, some of the things that you had to make some adjustment to. Things like, I know to have two children at one time, again, like you said, it's a little bit of a financial, like, oh Lord, they both got to do this thing. And the me and Marissa, we were looking at some pictures of us. I saw us, both being in ballet, and we both did tap dance, and we both played basketball, and we both did gymnastics, and
Right.
we both did a lot of things
Together.
when we were younger. Was it kind of a mission of yours to, make sure that we were involved in those activities together? Because at some point in time, we did start to branch out. Was that something that was that you wanted, you purposely did, or was that more so going into the first episode, the last episode where you spoke about Marissa just did everything that I wanted to do? Was that I wanted to do, gymnastics, and so Marissa said she did gymnastics, or how was that?
Well, really, it really wasn't to start what you all wanted to do. It was me trying to expose you to different things so that you can, find what you really like, what was really your true gifts, what you enjoyed in life. And so I wanted to expose you to things. Courtney liked music from the beginning. So, I went with piano there. Marissa liked, fashion. So I went with modeling there. You didn't do all of the things the same, but you did a lot of them. And that was basically because it was just one me. And, I got to work full time. I can't take you to golf and you to tennis and you see what I'm saying? So it was just easier to take you to some of the same things. But then I did give you opportunities to do your own thing. Courtney kind of went on into the technology, the robotics end of it. Marissa like cooking and culinary. And then at one time she was talking about being a pediatrician. So I just wanted to make sure that you were exposed to all of the things that you really liked, so you could determine, long term, is this what I really want to do? Is this where my life is going to really end up or whatever? Because I wanted you to have separate personalities. So I didn't want you all to think you had to do the same things, but it was easier when you were younger for me to take you to the same dance class, same karate, everybody go to the same place. But as you got a little older and started identifying things that you liked, I wanted to make sure that you had exposure in those areas as well, because it just helped you become the well-rounded women that you are today.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that too. Being able to have all of those experiences. I don't know that me and Riss would have done too well in gymnastics. We probably 3 times the size of a regular gymnast, but we
We tried.
we did try, and we do appreciate all of those experiences. Getting more into a little of the things that maybe were interesting, or you had to make some adjustments to, or maybe not so prepared for. So growing up, one thing that me and Marissa have discussed a lot is the doctors, going to the doctors. And one thing you mentioned, well, the doctor was able to tell us apart with the heart, but I know there's a few times you had to go to the doctors and you had all of our charts together and you had to tell them, this is Marissa, this is Courtney, and this is their social, and this is her, because they would mix us up so
Right.
much.
Yeah, that was, and that's something that new mothers need to know because you guys have the same birthday. Um, and so when they pull insurance cards and information, they use that birth date. And so they have charged Courtney for 2 visits when it really should have been Courtney and Marissa. The medical side of it really was really different because when you came home, Courtney, you were on a heart monitor, and you did have medication, which I really made sure that I knew who was who then. You had like a piece of yarn on you. You had all kind of stuff, so we knew. But you quickly, by 3-4 months, you were off of it, and then they said as you got older, you would kind of outgrow it because the heart would become stronger and all of that, which you actually did. And so I just, with medication and just the doctors in general was a panic area for me because I wanted to make sure the right child was being seen, this, that, and the other. And then what really would frustrate me is when you would get sick, I knew you both were going to get sick normally not at the same time, which was really crazy because Courtney would always get sick first, always. She would get it. And 2 days later, Marissa would get it. And so, like I said, when I would go to the doctors, my baby's sick, she has this. I'm like, now, the other one is going to get it. Can I just get some medicine now? I'd have to call back, make an appointment, bring the other twin in. And like I said, that's a lot, especially if you have more twins, if you got twins, you got triplets or whatever, you got to keep making all these appointments. And that I really wish they had back then what they have now, which is the teledoc. And they could just call in the prescription, but it was a lot of work back then because one thing mothers will realize is, loading up the car and unloading the car and loading kids back in the car, especially when they're sick, is not fun.
Yeah, I definitely, that goes back to that, statement about things changing. I think a lot of the mothers now, I'm pretty sure they're experiencing a lot of the same things. A lot of the twin mothers are, but hopefully over the course of 30 years, things have changed and, research has changed to show that, hey, like you said, once one twin catches it, there's a high probability the other twin is going to catch it, and they go ahead and treat you ahead of time, and you don't have to go play kind of back and forth with it. So that brings me to the other part of it, the educational part. We talked about the medical part, the educational part, the fact that we're both in school at the same time. I think, again, we're the first children you had, and, just seeing how we would do in school and, our learning and, the ways that we learn and interact with our teachers, and also the fact that we had quite a bit of a bond with each other because before school we were with each other 4 or 5 years. One thing that me and Marissa have talked about a lot is all of the studies that came out at that time about, oh, twins should be in class together. Oh no, they should be in 2 separate classes. They should be in class together. And me and Marissa were in the same class at one point in preschool, and then we got in kindergarten and they pulled us apart. We were in 2 different classes, and then 2 years later we were in the same classes and they put us in 2 different classes. Did that have any effect on you, or how did that make you feel as a mother? Did you feel like it had any effect on us and our learning capabilities?
Well, number one, I didn't want you in the same class because at that point, you were still young, and there was a quiet twin and there was an outgoing twin. And I knew that the quiet twin wouldn't be able to develop into the person she is with the outgoing twin there, because that person was the star of the show, motor mouth, always had something to say, and the other one would just be like, and I'm like, what do you really feel? So when the schools put you in the class together, it was me who was fighting to get you separated. That was me, because I wanted you all to, one, learn at your own pace. Every child doesn't learn at the same pace. So if you're together, then teachers are going to assume that one should be at the same level as the other. And that's not right. Learning looks different for different people. And different children learn on different spectrums. So I wanted you to have the opportunity to develop at your own pace. And you were both very good students all the way through, even very, very young. Marissa did not, because she was the quiet one. It's coming out, Marissa.
It's fine.
She
Everybody know.
she would not say anything in class. I mean, nothing. Whatever the teacher asked, she was okay with, and she would just, because she had been under that cloud of Courtney for so long that, she was to the point where we even had a speech therapist for her so that she would really start to speak and say how she feels and engage in that. And then her father really challenged her to go to school. I want you to go in there and ask 2 questions today. And then it kind of moved up and moved up to the point where we was like, why did we get this girl some speech therapy? Because she won't stop talking now. But it really helped her become the person she was. And then it was like, okay, here we go. Everybody's doing their own little thing. And then we would go to the next grade level and they try to put you back together. But it was so funny. This child that I thought needed the structure never had teachers that really provided that structure. The child that I felt like did not need that much structure, that was really obedient, just on task all the time, always had the teachers that were just sticklers. And so it was really funny how it always ended up that way. But again, it kind of shaped your personality, because the child without a lot of structure is the one that's laid back today. Mm-hmm. Not that she doesn't get stuff down, she's just laid back. And the one that had a lot of structure is structured, who plans, I sleep at this time, I wake at this time, I eat at this time. So I think that early foundation really sets the tone for who you are. And people think, well, it's so young, they don't remember. I can see it. I can see how it has had an influence on who you are.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you, Mom, breaking it down and explaining it in that way, because I think, one thing that it showed when they would try to put us in the same classes a lot is, uh, I don't feel like they were interested in treating us individually.
Right.
I don't think that was an interest of the schools at
No,
that time. I'm not really sure what they're
absolutely.
doing now, but it was always treating them the same way. And like you said, for me, this is Courtney. I know I probably needed a lot more structure than
Ooh,
Marissa
Lord
did.
have mercy. Mm,
Oh,
mm, mm.
I'm pretty sure I needed a lot more structure at that age than Marissa did. And she probably needed, maybe a more comfortable, relaxed setting, because she was so structured. And so it is interesting, just to hear your perspective and how, I know, and that's why I asked the question. I know you had to kind of battle with the schools a lot to try to make sure that they would break us up and they would treat us differently and they wouldn't always find ways to put us together. So we definitely appreciate that, because that I think that did help a little bit. Me and Marissa will be talking about I have an identity. Have a few episodes where we talk about identity and some struggles and stuff that we have. But I do appreciate your efforts on that. So
yeah, and I think that's really important though for a lot of mothers, especially that mothers of twins, not used to having twins or exposure to twins, and just trying to figure it out. It's good for them just to give them a heads up on maybe what to expect. Of course, that was some time ago, so maybe the school system has changed a bit, but if not, at least kind of giving them some insights on what to expect and what they can do. So that's good. That's good. All right. And so, Mom, and this is really broad, so it's kind of whatever you want to say, but what advice would you give someone expecting twins? So I had a coworker, he worked in a different department as mine, and this was like a year and a half ago, and he had twin boys on the way, and he was terrified because he was like, I just don't know, what to expect having twins and what it's going to be like. And I want to make sure they develop their individuality, but I just don't know how to. So it was that, and then just the unexpectedness of having twins and it being their first child. What advice would you give to anyone having twins? Like the good, the bad, the ugly? Like what would you want to say? What would you want to tell them? Or what would you want to tell yourself, right? If this was
Well,
you all over again.
if I had a chance to kind of go back, I wouldn't put that much pressure on myself. Um, because and I would live more in the moment versus trying to control and plan the moment. Um, I would understand, that the God we serve is not going to give us more than we can handle. And so if he doesn't provide it, he's going to provide somebody to come and help us. And it's just going to develop us as a person. But to not get so overwhelmed in the process where you don't enjoy raising your children, to just kind of don't lump them together. It's fun having twins and it's easy doing, if I'm feeding one, feed the other, this, that, and the other. But once they really start to kind of know and engage the world around them, try to engage them separately, because they play together all the time. So I would always try to get some time where I would play with you one-on-one. So you didn't feel like my only friend in the world is my sister. She's the only one who knows me.
Right.
But, and it was my way of getting to know you individually. And so I think that's important where, when you have one child, that's what the parent is focused on, bonding with that one child and getting to know that one child. Well, you have to do it with two. And you have to make sure you split that time, separate that time between the two of them. And that's just, what it is. And just live in the moment, enjoy your children. Don't try to plan everything out, because one thing I learned is with twins, it was hard to plan because I would dress y'all up all pretty and everything. And we'd go out in the stroller and somebody's shoe would come off and somebody would rip off the headband. And you just can't plan it, children are children. And so just let them enjoy what they like to do, and then enjoy being the parent. And you're ready. You'll be ready. You might not be ready when you first hear about it, but once they come, it's like an innate, natural kind of thing. You kind of figure out what to do. You just do.
Yeah, I think I really like that you said, hey, you would just live a little bit more, just not put so much pressure on yourself. And we definitely appreciate all of the effort that you put in and dad, the both of you all were a team, were a unit. When it came to the structuredness of it, I think it was more you and keeping on the
Yes.
doctors and the teachers and stuff. I think that was more you. But we definitely appreciate just the impact that you have had on both me and Marissa, and we are too totally, we're two totally different people. We have two totally different personalities and characteristics, and I think a lot of that we can account for because of the efforts and stuff that you made when when we were younger and growing up and that sort of thing. So, and our experiences there.
Yep. All right. Well, that was all the questions that we had for you, Mother. Again, thank you so much for coming back for this second session. And
I do have one question.
okay,
I do
okay.
have one other
Go
question.
ahead.
And it's a random question, and this one is an off guard question.
The standard Courtney move coming
Standard
through with
me.
the
I always come with the
spontaneous stuff.
spontaneous off guard question.
Absolutely.
So, at one point in time, me and Marissa were bridesmaids, not bridesmaids, sorry, flower girls a lot. We were flower girls a lot. For those listening, me and Marissa were in so many weddings, it's ridiculous. And so I know at one age, I'm sure when we were 4, 5, 6, 7, we were in weddings almost every weekend.
Probably the summer.
And when I was younger, I didn't think about it like that. It was just okay. It was just somebody else's wedding, to the point where we had, I think, flower girl dresses. They were like these, dresses these big old dresses you had in the closet, Mom, that we would wear when we were in somebody's wedding. And so what I'm wondering though, now that I'm older, is because I remember you used to say like, "Oh, this is one of my friends such and such, or one of my friends such and such." But now that I'm like, 30, I'm like, how many friends did you have? Like,
Or was it just that we were twins?
was it that when we were twins? Was there a service? Like if somebody was looking for Flower Girl.
Today I would charge. Absolutely. And I probably got a website with twins. You know what I mean? If you having a wedding, here's some pretty little girls, twins, just to we got a little fee for an hour. We could take pictures and all that. But back then, some were my friends, and then some were people who knew I had twins, that knew your grandparents, and don't you got twin granddaughters? And that's how you ended up in so many weddings. Everybody wanted the twins in their weddings. So that's what happened with you guys. But now I would be making some coins off of
Okay. So that's a pro for the ones now. Okay.
Yeah, definitely for the twin mothers listening. And again, we're in the age of social media and Instagram and stuff. And there are a lot of twins now that's what their parents and their mothers do. They dress them up. They take all these pictures and magazines or whoever wants you. Because another thing was fashion shows.
Oh yeah.
Me and Marissa were in a lot of fashion shows as well. Just walk out there. I remember the morning of, Mom was like, "We got to go to an event. All you got to do is walk." And that's all we did was walk. And everybody, so take all these pictures. We took the pictures. We had a free meal and whatever it was.
That's what you all wanted, was the free meal, because
we was there for
French fries afterwards. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, I just had to ask that question because I'm like, I know that one is a little off the cuff, but and now that I'm older, I'm like, man, there's a few times that me and Marissa were in weddings back like every weekend. I'm like, I know you ain't had that many friends. Like how many? Like we were in some people that's not even the same race as us and everything. Like I'm like, I know this ain't a cousin. Like who is this?
We was there for the food. Okay, well, cool. So, are you done with your spontaneous?
Yeah, questions? I'm done with the spontaneous questions. We're good to our regularly scheduled program.
Okay. Well, that was all we had. So, thank you again, Mom, for joining, and I'm sure your responses and insight is, really going to be very helpful for those that either are expecting twins or raising twins or just no twins. Maybe they got twin nieces or twin nephews or something, and they're just trying to get some insight there. So we certainly appreciate your time and appreciate all the efforts you made to help mold us into the ladies we are today. So we thank you for that, Mama.
Yeah, definitely. And to kind of go off of something you mentioned earlier, Marissa, where twins are kind of in right now.
Right.
Like everybody's a trend. Everybody wants twins. I think this is a good for them to listen to as well, because sometimes people only see one side of twins. They only see, you have, two twins that look alike and they're so cute and all these pictures you take and all that. But there are also some other sides of it to just make sure you're prepared for.
Right. Especially the parents for younger twins.
Absolutely.
During that developmental phase. So, okay.
So definitely appreciate you, Mom. Just sharing your insight. And again, for those listening in, if you have any questions for me or Marissa or our mother, make sure you can email us at twintheorypodcasters@gmail.com. You can follow us on any major podcasting platform. Feel free to leave comments there, or our YouTube page. We have a YouTube page, Twin Theory Podcast, and you can subscribe. Make sure you like the video, and you can leave comments there as well if you have some comments or questions or things that you would like to add on. Maybe share your experiences if you're another twin mom, or whatever your position is. So definitely enjoy you listening to the twin series, this episode and the episode before. Again, make sure you listen to both, because both have our our fantastic mother. And again, we just really, really appreciate you, tuning in with us, Mother. And with that, we're going to let you all go, and just make sure you stay tuned. Yes. Stay tuned. And for those that are on Instagram, follow us on the Twin Theory Podcasters. That's our Instagram handle. And we will have some hints to our next interview and who that potentially could be.
Yes.
So, all right, we'll let you guys go.